Good morning, my dear students. How are you today? Our lesson today is the same lesson we studied yesterday, which is circles and arcs. Today we are going to continue the other part of the lesson. Circumference of the circle. What is the circumference of the circle? Circumference of the circle is a distance around the circle. Circumference of the circle is a distance around the circle. The number pi is the ratio of circumference of circle and diameter. We have simple pi is the ratio between circumference and diameter. Our rule today is how to find the circumference of the circle. We have two rules. The first one, pi times d. D is the diameter of the circle. D is the diameter of the circle. And the other rule, c equals 2 pi r. R is the radius of the circle. So we have two rules to find circumference of the circle. The first one is pi times d. D is the diameter of the circle. The second one is 2 pi r. R is the radius of the circle. Radius of the circle is the distance from the center to any point on the circle. Diameter of the circle is the line segment joining 2 points on the circle, passing through the center. Pi, we can use it as 3.14 or 22/7 as usual. Here we have coplanar circles that have the same center are called concentric circles. Concentric circles means two circles have the same center. Have the same center. If you have two circles with the same center are called concentric circles. Let's see the first exercise of this part. Here we have a 2 feet wide circular track for a camera dolly is set up for a movie scene. The two rails of the track form concentric circles, the same centers. The radius of the inner circle is 8. How much further does the wheel on the outer rail travel than a wheel on the inner rail? How much further means minus. So we need to find the circumference of the inner circle and circumference of the outer circle and make them minus. How come? Step number one, we are going to find the circumference of the inner circle. Its radius here is 8. So here we have radius. So C number one, I'm going to use the rule of radius, which is 2 pi r. Keep r. Don't convert it into 22/7 or 3.14. So it will be 2 times pi times r. R here is 8. So the answer 2 times 8 is 16 and drop the pi. C number 2, the circumference of the outer circle. We have the distance here from here to here, from the center to here is 8. And from this point to this point is 2. So the radius of the outer circle is 10. Again, the radius of the outer circle is 10 because the distance from here to here is 8. And from this point to this point 2. So it will be 10. We are going to use the rule of the r of the radius, 2 pi r. So it will be 2 times pi times 10. It will be 20 pi. How much further means minus. So we are going to make 20 pi minus 16 pi. 20 minus 16, it will be 4, and keep the pi. The next exercise. A car has a circular turning radius of 16.1 feet. The other distance between the two front tires is 4.7 feet. How much farther again does a tire on the outside of the turn travel than a tire on the inside? Let's find circumference of the inner circle. The inner circle I don't have its radius, but I have the distance from here to here is 16.1. From here to here is 16.1. This is the radius of the outer circle, the outer, because it's a distance from here to here. So find it first, no problem. It will be 2 by r. So it will be 2 keep by times 16.1. So the answer equals 2 times 16.1. It will be 32.2 by. After that, we need to find circumference of the inner circle. The inner circle, this circle. We need to find the radius of it. From here to here, 16.1, and this part is 4.7. So make 16.1 to find R2. Make 16.1 minus 4.7. So it will be 16.1 minus 4.7. It will be 11.4. So the radius of the inner from here to here is 11.4. I'm going to use it 2 by r. It will be 2 times pi times the radius is 11.4. So the answer 2 times 11.4, it will be 22.8 pi. How much first means minus, so I'm going to make 32.2 pi minus 22.8 pi. It will be 32.2 minus 22.8. The answer will be 9.4 y. 9.4 pi. So how much further means minus? We are going to find the circumference of the outer circle and circumference of the inner circles and make them minus. Another part of this lesson. Here we have the arc length. Last time we know how to find the measure of the arc. Today we are going to learn how to find the length of the arc. The length of the arc, any arc. Its rule is measure of this arc over 360 times 2 by r. The circumference of the circle. Or measure of this arc over 360 times pi times d, no problem. D is the diameter, r is the radius. Again, the length of any arc equals measure of this arc over 360 times 2 by r, or measure of this arc over 360 times pi d, whatever you have. If you have radius, you are going to use this rule. If you have diameter, you are going to use this rule. Let's solve exercise to understand this part well. Here, find the arc length. Find the arc length. What is the length of each arc shown in red? I need to find the arc shown in red. We need two things to find it. Measure of the arc and radius or diameter of the circle. First, measure of the arc. Measure of arc xy equals its central angle opposite to it. So it will be 90 degrees because the central angle opposite to this arc is 90. Here we have diameter of the circle. So we have diameter equals 16. So we are going to use the rule of the diameter, which is measure of the arc, which is 90 over 360 times by d. d is 16. Here we can use by as 22 over 7 or 3.14, no problem. So 90 over 360 times by, I'm going to use it 22 over 7 times 16. It will be 88 over 7. 88 over 7 inch. If you use by 3.14, it will be the same answer or approximately to it. It will be 12.56. If you use by 22 over 7 or 3.14, no problem. The next one, let's find what we have. I need to find the length of this arc, and I have its measure already. Measure of the arc xpy, it's measure arc xpy equals 240. What else do we have? We have the radius of the circle, which is 15. So I have r equals 15. So I'm going to use the rule of measure of the arc, which is 240 over 360 times 2 by r. I'm going to use the rule of the r because I have r. So it will be 2 times by 22 over 7, no problem, or 3.14 as you want, times r is 15. Let's find the answer. 240 over 360 times 2 times 22 over 7 times 15. The answer is approximately 62.8. Here he said, leave your answer in term of by. So keep by. Take 22 over 7 and write by. And no problem, we substitute about by with 22 over 7. No problem. Okay. The next one. What is the length of a semicircle? What is the length of a semicircle with radius 1.3? Leave your answer in term of pi. I will keep it in term of pi, no problem. What is the length of the semicircle? The measure of the semicircle arc equals 180. Yes, it's a semicircle. And here we have r equals 1.3. So I'm going to use the rule of the radius, which is measure of the arc, 180 over 360 times 2 pi times r 1.3. Here I'm going to keep pi. So I'm going to make 180 over 360 times 2 times 1.3. The answer is 1.3. And don't forget pi, 1.3 and beside it pi. So the length of this arc is 1.3 r. Another part of this lesson, congruent arcs. What is the congruent arcs? Two arcs having the same measure. Two arcs having the same measure. Arc XY here, its measure is 60, and also arc RS. So they have the same measure. They are called congruent arcs. Let's solve another exercise about this part. We are going to revise what we studied yesterday. We have a circle like that. What is the name of a minor arc? He needs just one minor arc, like AB, BD, DC, any arc less than a semicircle, so it will be minor. Maybe arc AB, no problem. What is the name of a major arc? A major arc more than semicircle. So the diameter here is BC. So you can take the arc BCD, this arc. This arc is major BCD. And write it with 3 letters. Number 2, arc BCD. Or sometimes we call BDA, no problem. What is the name of a semicircle? A semicircle is related to the diameter. The diameter here is CB, so it's arc CAB or BAC. I can say it like that, CDB or BDC. I need just one. What is the name of one semicircle? It will be CAB. What is measure of arc AB? Arc AB, it's a measure like its opposite central angle. The central angle here is 81, so the measure of the arc also is 81 degrees. What is the circumference of the circle? Circumference of the circle, 2 by r or pi times d. Here I have r is 9 centimeter, so it will be 2 by r. It will be like that, 2 times by times r is 9. So it will be 18 by 2 times 9 is 18. What is the length of the arc BD? Arc BD, I need its measure. And also, I need the circumference of the circle. Already I have the circumference. I need the measure of the arc A as arc BD. This arc, how we can find it? And we don't have its central angle. How we can find it? It's a very easy way. This arc is 65. And this arc, or this is diameter. So this part is semicircle. So if you need to find BD, the measure of the arc BD, make 180 minus 65. Because from B to C is 180. And from D to C 65, this part 65, so this part 180 minus 65, 180 minus 65, 115. So the measure of this arc is 115. How we can find its length? By using the rule is measure of the arc 115 over 360 times 2 by r, which is 18 by. Direct, 18 by. Keep the by, no problem. So you are going to make 115 over 360 times 18. It will be the answer 5.75, 5.75, and beside it pi, 5.75 pi. We finished our lesson. I hope you understood this lesson. Don't forget your online assignment. Have a nice day. Thank you.